What's going on? This is beer today, beer tomorrow, and yeah, we're kicking it here at the Controlled Chaos Art Show, hosted by Art and Hustle at the Image Gallery at 1501 Broadway, Brooklyn, New York. It's a collective art show with over 20 artists. Features beats by D. Harper, Minefield Productions, live music by T-Rock and Dud Music, live paintings by Rise Boogie, live model painting by Albertus Joseph and Arminda Janeth Flores. Shout out to all the vendors. Special shout out to Juice Garden BK, who is actually also a sponsor. And of course, beer today, beer tomorrow, here in full effect representing. Justin, how you feeling, man?
Oh, man, I'm chilling. Great to be back at another show.
And yeah, we're excited about today's show, man. I mean, how do you feel about this whole thing?
This is a great vibe. Great show. Lots of cool artists. We're sitting here drinking some beers. Can't be mad at it.
No, not at all. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna kick this off. This is gonna be a series of interviews with several different artists. We hope you enjoy the show, and of course, there's gonna be a lot of craft beer. So yeah, enjoy and cheers.
Cheers.
Guys, beer today, beer tomorrow. We have a very special guest with us today, sir. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Rammer Martinez Sanchez.
And give us a little backstory on the name.
Oh, that's right. So my name is Rammer. Yes, you heard right. It's a mixture of my parents' name, basically. RAM for Ramon, which is my dad, and MER for Mercedes, which is my mom. So Rammer is actually my name. Not a rapper name or anything like that. It's my bona fide name.
That's good. All right. So now tell us a little bit about the art that you have here today and what inspired you to create it.
Well, I guess the kind of art that I do, if I was to name it anything, would be the style of calligraffiti, which is pretty much marrying calligraphy, which is the old, with graffiti, which is the new. And it's a whole culture behind that. The graffiti world is a culture, the calligraphy world is a culture, and the calligraffiti world is a culture. So I get inspired by letter forms, and I get inspired from dialogue. Basically, we could be having a dialogue, and I might catch a point, or we're just having this one moment where it gets pretty much understood that if I was to write this down, it would be a thing. And I get inspired by moments like that. On top of that, it makes it more of a collaborative effort. Like, it's not all me. It's not like ego-driven or anything like that. Like, I feel like it's part of everyone. And like, there's a little bit of everyone in the pieces.
Okay. Now what made you get into calligraffiti? Have you ever painted on train cars? Like, did it lead to that, or?
Actually, no. Graffiti was always in my culture, right? It's
Okay.
always part of like, and not just in my culture like hip hop, but that's actually the surface of it, if anything. I mean more like the people that I would meet that do art, they would like the style that they would do would be graffiti style. There's a certain sense of aesthetics, code of ethics. So I was immersed on that aspect. I was immersed in the graffiti culture, but not necessarily like hitting trains or anything like that. But just letter forms is what got me. Just the love for letter forms, as much as it's equal, if not comparative to the love that I have for like figurative figures and depicting pictures or whatever have you.
Okay.
So what initially got you, like, what was it? Was there a specific moment or event that really got you into this whole thing, into art in general?
I don't think so. I think it was probably one of those things that I always had it until just like synergy made it balanced enough for me to like do it. I mean, I was taught graphic design in my undergrad school, so it's like typography, letter forms is always part of my life, and it's everywhere, also. So I don't really think there was a set moment, but when I started seeing more calligraffiti artists out there, that was a definite inspiration in a sense of like, I'm doing this already, and there's a thing out there that I didn't know I was part of. That was probably, if not, if that was an actual, if you would call that a moment, that would be the moment. Like the idea that, oh, I've been doing this all in my own little under a rock, right, in my own vacuum, and then I didn't realize that it was part of a big culture that isn't big enough. You know, I think I might be the only calligraphy artist in New York City.
Wow.
All
Really?
Wow. Now, I think before
so. Exclusively calligraphy, yeah.
they said it's a big Europe thing.
Europe, Russia. Actually, it's like spots all over. Indonesia, like Venezuela. There's Russia is big in Russia. It's spots all over the world, and it's crazy because graffiti started uptown Manhattan and Kingsbridge, Bronx, in the 70s and early 80s, actually 60s too. It started there, right, in New York City, and for some reason the calligraphy aspect of it isn't really here,
No.
which is odd.
Yeah.
It's similar. It's very parallel to what's going on in hip hop, I guess, right?
So yeah.
It's teardrop.
Yeah. Oh.
So calligraphy. To if you could put that in words for audience who are listening in, like how would you describe that?
Well, you have like modern letters, Helvetica and all that, right? Then you got the graffiti, which is like I said, started late 70s and 80s. And then you got like black letter and like runes and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. You know, you have like all these things that are old and all these things that are happening right now, that is fresh and is happening right now. So to marry both of them is to make both the old and the new even something different, even more something different. So that, I think, is the aspect of calligraphy. It's also, to me, at least personally, I think that with my line of work, you know, you got people from all walks of life, people that read Arabic, people that Cyrillic, people that Korean, Japanese, right? You got all these different styles of writing and languages. And I think that personally, what I'm trying to do is marry everything, right? Make it one world in the canvas. So it has all these styles from any era, any country, doesn't matter. But because you have them all kind of like included democratically, visually, someone from another culture might see something that you from another culture might see something else. But at the very least, there's an overlap where you both could appreciate it and have a dialogue back
Sure.
to the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like a sandwich effect, right?
Yeah.
I get inspired by dialogue. I write something down. People look at it and they get inspired to talk about it. More dialogue.
Yes. Now, tell us about the words in some of these paintings.
All right. I'm not going to speak about the one on top because that's like, I could talk about it for a minute.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
the Tao Te Ching, by the way. Like we will just
the
put
bottom,
that. Yeah.
Sometimes I also I do spoken word and I write. So sometimes I use some of my own writings. Okay. And there's something that I performed at the New York Weekend for Martin Luther King's birthday. And this I called it "Art is the youest you can you." And I thought it was like a nice little quotable thing. Art is the youest you can you. So one of the pieces is art is the youest you can you.
There we go.
So now, if people want to find out more about what you're doing, where can they go to find out about you?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm an open book. You could just Google me or like just search me on Facebook. Rammer, Rammer, Martinez Sanchez. Or catch me on Instagram. Rammer twice, but the last R of the first name is the first R of the second name. So it would be like Rammer Ammer.
Rammer. And now, you have any shows coming up?
Just this one right now.
Are you
And
here
the
next
image
week
at the
too?
15th.
Yeah.
Supreme Bars. Shout out to Supreme Bars. It's a hip hop competition for both MCs and producers. We're celebrating the 3-year anniversary at Supreme Bars, and I am being that Supreme Bars is all about the elements of hip hop. I represent the element of graffiti. So I've been going there continuously for the last 2.5 years, almost all 3 years of them being in operation. And we're celebrating their 3-year anniversary Monday, December the 18th, Bleecker Street. Just Google Supreme Bars and maybe put Rammer. And please, I'd love to see you there.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for hopping on the show, man.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
I will be
Cheers.
listening to you and looking forward to your podcast.
Absolutely. And, oh, by the way, what did you think of the beer?
Sorry?
What did you think of the beer?
I love the ginger.
Oh, there you go. It's a nice saison, man.
I love it.
Cheers.
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 All right, BTBT, we are back at it. We have another very, very special artist. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Adriana Sharp, and I am from Ecuador, South America.
All right, no doubt. Shout out to
Ecuador.
Ecuador. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wait, where's your wife from?
My wife is from Ecuador.
Okay.
Well, her family, it's like a mix. Part of them are from Quito, and part of them are from a place where I don't know.
What's her name?
Her name is Rachel.
Okay, I don't know her. For a second, I thought I know.
So tell us a little bit about your art, and tell us about what you do.
My art, I call it like the expression of the human condition. I started painting when I was 4 years old,
Oh, wow.
and then I had my first show when I was 9. And I studied under a master. His name was Osvaldo Ayasmin, and then he died, and then I was sad, and then I became a professional basketball player.
Okay.
You became a professional basketball player?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay.
That is
What?
an interesting
Okay, first,
step to take.
First, I was an athlete, right? I just run, and then I jump very high, so they wanted me for a rebound. So they trained me, and then I just became this beast, number 12. That's what they call me. 69 points in one game.
What position?
I play all of them.
All of them. So
Yeah,
so
well,
all
yeah.
5.
Yes, you have to consider that in Ecuador, it's like everybody is like 5'2", 5'3", and then I'm like 5'7".
Okay.
You're like a giant in Ecuador. You basically.
Yeah, I'm considered a tall person over there. Yeah.
61 points in a game? That's crazy.
69 points. Yeah.
so that is
I
straight
used to-
balling.
I used to be committed. I used to have a schedule. I used to train every day, and more likely I used to train more with the male team.
Yeah.
Because they were, bigger.
Big guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's actually a very interesting fact.
Very interesting. Now, where are your paintings here? Where's your art? Over there. with
the lips. Yeah,
The
yeah.
lips. Okay.
Studio 54.
So tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind these lips, and we're going to take some pictures of this so the audience can see this on our website, and we'll link to your website and your social media accounts. But take us through this. What was the inspiration behind this?
Okay, for the lips, I just arrived to the city maybe like 5 months ago. I lived in North Carolina. When I was over there, I was commissioned by Lancome, the makeup line, to make some lips. So that's when it started. So everybody's like, I like your lips. And then I decided that I wanted to have like universal lips. I live for everybody.
Now, are you a cigarette smoker? Because I see a lot of lips. They have cigarettes. They got cigars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I do a lot of cubism. I mean, I've been a commissionist painter for like 26 years almost. So I have always painted stuff for people. So at some point I decided, when I was 30, I want to be like, like a solo artist. I want to make my own stuff. And then what do I paint now? Because a lot of people, they go to their emotion stuff, and then I paint what I see and like people's feelings. A lot of people don't even know how they feel, but I do, and I just paint it. I don't know if you haven't seen like my other line, because I have like different. It's like a very big line that all goes together, but when you see it together, then it makes sense.
So now, just taking a step back. So you said you were into art, then you got into like basketball. So now, how did you get back into art?
Oh, well, I never stopped. Like, I stopped
never
being like a solo artist, having shows and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I did commission paintings for the town and people. Like, I sell art to people in Belgium and like, what else? Brazil, Peru, a lot of places in the States. So it's like I really didn't stop, but it was not like now. You know, like right now I'm an artist, 24/7. That's all that I do. And I make this whole collection. I make 27 paintings in the last 7 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you've been grinding.
Yeah, well, I'm talking. I have a show going on right now at Dumbo.
Okay.
Oh, really? So you
cool.
got a lot. You got a lot of stuff going on then, right?
Today, yeah. Today.
Today.
So I'm working like a 7 beer.
I feel like that's how New York works, right? Nothing, everything at once.
Yeah.
Nothing,
But I
nothing.
did like, before I became a painter, I did like all the other things, you know, like I was married, then divorced. Then I made it to nationals in pool. I play pool.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And also poker. I almost made it to
Poker.
the-
All right. Yeah. A little Texas Hold'em.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. She's done it all. She's
Done
done it all,
everything, yeah.
folks.
So when you
Yeah.
take a walk to like my artwork and then you see it together, like you see all of that, you like be like, where she's been? Like she can look at my business cards.
Wow. She's laying out the business cards right now.
No, like
These
it
are some
does
nice looking
show.
business cards.
It tells you where I've been, you know. It's a story. This is Ecuador.
Yeah.
This is the United States. You see where the corruption started with the cigarettes and stuff.
The corruption started in the United States.
I'm gonna separate it for you.
So take us through this journey here. Take us through, because each business card is unique and it's different. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it's pretty much like a long story. I've been around people for like a long time. I pretty much lived in like 12 cities maybe.
12
And I've been
cities?
to like
Wow.
45 cities, and I have always like watching people because I, you know, like I study that. Like, whoa, the human behavior. So I observe a lot of things. Like we're talking about like I've been in a small town where they have the country. We're talking about like deep in the country, like for the farmers, and then you see the life in the city of that country town. Then you go to the real city, and then you see the life in the city, and then you see the difference. So that's what I paint about, like people's feelings, sadness, confused, confidence, love. This is like the time that I spend on the South. I notice the people is passive aggressive. I notice the people I feel it.
Down south, yeah.
So that's why they have dark eyes, because everybody's hiding something.
Well, I think that's a fair statement. I think everybody might be hiding a little something, right?
Yeah.
Collection that is called food porn.
What is it called?
Food porn.
Food porn. Okay,
Look
I
how
like
close
that.
it is.
I see that. I like that. I like that. You want to see your food porn?
Look at the sushi bar.
Yeah.
I'm digging that. I like that.
Funny about it. You can also see my humor in my paintings.
Sure, sure.
I was pushed to do a collection. You know, like I studied my master. When I studied my master, like his thing, it was Cubism. So he was in the same time of Pablo Picasso. Like you can find his stuff in like Christie's and stuff like that. So right now it's like they have like that Basquiat movement going on, right? So the first thing that somebody asked me when I came to Brooklyn is like, this person commissioned me to do the paintings, right? And he's like, I want something like Basquiat. And I say, okay, but I mean, what part do you want of it? Like, you want a message or like, what is it you want? And he's like, I don't know. I just want like things. So I was funny about it. I make a whole painting about myself, and then I just put like the Basquiat crown on the top.
Right.
And then I stand in the back and I look at people looking at my artwork, being like, yeah, this is definitely a Basquiat piece. Just going based on the ground, like, you know.
Right.
Like observations. Like I'm working on writing a book, so yeah, like, you know, like you live in like two different lives. Like when I live in South America, there I was a legend, then I was a hero. I saved people from like fire, babies from the street. Like you would not believe it. I was
So wait, you seem like you have like one of the most interesting backstories we came
Yeah.
across. It's like you seem like you've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, in order to understand me, then you have to look at my parents.
Oh, really?
So, yes. My father, he's American. He had me when he was 65. He fought like World War II.
Oh, wow.
And he was a professor. He was a civil engineer. He was a master carpenter. He was a painter and an entrepreneur that came to South America. to still national treasure.
He had you when he was 65. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's daddy.
How did he meet your mom?
It was just business. They married so he can get papers to stay on the city. And I guess she wanted to come over here, but they fell in love, and then my sister happened, and I was a surprise.
You were the surprise.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what's up. That's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
They were
Hey,
happily
you know I got
married
something to
for
look forward to.
a
I'm
long
65.
Yeah.
I might have a kid.
There you go.
Yeah. I also do carpentry with my work. Like I do coffee tables, but I didn't bring it. Like I was just running like a crazy person in the last day.
Wow. So I mean, if there's a way you could just kind of describe your art or your inspiration, I don't even. I mean, you've said you've done so many things. I don't even know if you can answer this question, but how would you describe your motivation and your passion behind your art?
My passion is people. I'm a people person. I like people. I like to know. If I see somebody, I go and I ask them why I need to know everything, you know. And then I put it on my canvas. It's like I think that the thing came out when I was in South America. I was to be a journalist, you know, to write. And then when I came over here, then I learned English in 2 months. So then I still have that broken English thing. So things that you learn in English and the other things that you learn in Spanish, I could have put it on a book because sometimes like I don't even know in what language I'm thinking. So the best idea to me was express it on a canvas, tell a story. Yes, at some point like I'm gonna put it together in a book and then I'm gonna put in it like where it came from.
I mean, from 61 points in a game to saving babies from fires. I mean, you got a lot going on.
It's like when I decided to be a solo artist, I quit my job like a crazy person, right? And then I go to this gallery and I say, hey, so what do I need to like be in this gallery? And he asked me 3 questions that I didn't have. He said, can you mass produce? And I say, no. Have you ever won a competition? And I was just like, I never entered a competition, you know? And what was the other question that he asked me? He said, I've been in the newspaper. And then he says, you can give me those 3, I have you in my gallery. That was a great gallery in North Carolina. So I went and I did that. I won a competition. I was in the newspaper. And because I quit my job and I thought that I can just be an artist, I was like, it's one way that a person you can do something, and it's like the struggle, the need. So I had like $35,000 on my account and then I blew them. I went on a road trip in the city. I stayed like in different states. And then I came back. When I came back, I found me the most humble job because I used to work in retail in North Carolina. Like high-end. I was like, I used to dress boys. What's it called that? A stylist.
Stylist?
Yeah,
Okay.
wash specialist, yada yada, and all that
Right.
stuff. So at that moment, when I was working in the most humble spot in a mall, selling sunglasses, desperation hit me. I started the process of painting. I went from months to hours to minutes.
Wow.
Like that. Then me, believe it or not. And then looking around what you have, you put it together. That's the process of creation for me. That's how it works.
Wow. That's pretty. I mean, your backstory sounds amazing. I mean, if people want to find out more about what you're doing, you're on social media, your website. You want to plug any of that?
Everything is Adriana Sharp.
Adriana Sharp.
Instagram, and that's where I am. I'm horrible with the media. Just Instagram and sometimes Facebook.
Instagram. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Guys, you have any other questions?
Yeah, what do you think about? Have you tasted the beer? What do you think about it?
I like it. It's mellow. It's like nice.
Okay. Are you a big craft beer person? Like, what do you normally drink when you drink?
No, I like this beer.
Okay.
I don't like the ones that I like light beer.
Light beer.
It's like my country, we're like liquor. Come on, everybody drinks liquor over there. They say we'll spill blood before alcohol.
There you go.
And then we have the beers called like Pilsener. The only beer that I remember when I was there.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. I mean, really love what you're doing. I mean, your artwork is awesome. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Well, absolutely. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, so we're back at it. We have another very special guest with us, another great artist. Sir, please introduce yourself.
My name is Albertus Joseph. I'm an artist from New York, from Queens originally. but my studio's in New Jersey now.
What part of Queens?
East Elmhurst
All right.
and Laurelton.
All right, very, very cool. So tell us a little bit about your art and what inspires you.
My work is a labor of love. I'm consumed by it. I do it every day. I have an incessant need to be around it, to be involved, to be enveloped by it. I am a narcissist because of it. I lose a lot of friends, and I ignore a lot of family because of it. And it's a great excuse to do those things.
There you go. So what initially brought you into this world? Like, what inspired you to get involved with artistic expression?
Well, my work is centered more or less. I paint a lot of women, and the basis for that is I was brought up in a matriarchal household. You know,
Okay.
My father was there, my uncles were there, my grandpa, everybody was there. But the women of the Albertus household ran shit. Like they did they were the first line of defense. When it got to grandpa, the uncles or dad, the shit was over. By the time they dropped the hammer on you, you knew you were, you didn't know if you're going to survive it. But mom and aunts and my sister, that I still spare the scars from her kicking me in the balls for telling her to go to hell after she tried to tell me what to do, and I was 7 years old, and I decided I wanted to do what I wanted to do. Well, my sister had to, drop the law on me. So the art aspect of why I'm so infatuated with the ideology of women is because our society doesn't see them the way I was brought up. I was brought up that they were equal, if not better, and the better part is an opinion, but the equal part was the land of the law. My parents traded off on things. It wasn't always my father giving the ass whoopings. It was mostly my mother, and she utilized all kind of things that would probably land her in jail today. But
That's just old school ass whoopings.
Exactly. Yeah, those are like the brooms, the extension cords, parts of a broken pot or glass or flying sugar bowl or whatever she had. She was just like a chancleta, whatever she had to throw, she would hit you with it. So it's been my opinion that once we dissolve this whole crazy social experiment of thinking that men are the better part of the human race when 2/3 of us are women, that I think that we can start having more robust conversations about other things. Women being marginalized, 70%, a white woman makes 74% of what a white man makes. A black woman in the same thing makes about 50-something%. And the percentages doesn't matter if it's not 100% equal.
Sure.
So
I agree.
I like to paint, to put it in a nutshell, kick-ass women. And I'd like to paint meaningful, character-strong, resilient people. I do paint men, but I find these characteristics in a lot of my friends and associates that decide to get painted. So.
Okay.
That
And
was
when
a
did you start?
long-winded answer.
That was a great answer. When did you start painting?
Well, my mom was an artist,
Okay.
so I started doing artwork as a child on the rainy days when I couldn't go outside, when kids still played outside. Remember those days?
Oh yeah.
Long
They
time
didn't
ago.
play video games.
My kids
Yeah.
don't play outside. They have all kind of allergies, and here I am. I don't have anything, I don't hardly get sick. I used to eat dirt, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Boosted your immune
Trying to dig
system.
to China.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
got
thing
all
I used to
worms,
do.
anything.
Yeah.
And then the Marine Corps.
Okay.
That helped too.
You're in the Marines.
Yeah, I did almost 10 years.
Wow.
In the Marine Corps Reserves. I was a 0311 for all of those grunts out there. Hoorah.
Were you active at all, or?
I got activated for the Gulf War.
Okay.
But I joined the Marine Corps while going through college thinking that, hey, you got the Montgomery Bill or whatever bill, GI Bill, but it doesn't apply to reservists. The Montgomery Bill did. And so I thought I'd make extra money to put my ass through college. I went to Rutgers University.
Nice.
Mason Gross School of the Arts. And so that's how I got started in the Marine Corps. But it was just like being at home.
Really?
Just like it. Home, my father was tougher. Trust me.
So can you tell us a little bit about the art that you have here today, the pieces you have, the body painting, all that?
I see a lot of guns.
Guns. Yeah, well, guns are a great metaphor for strength.
Okay.
Semiotically speaking, guns speak towards the power, the strength of a nation, the power of, people feel empowered by them.
Sure.
So I use it semiotically to express the power or the inner power of people that we all have. I believe it was Admiral W.C. Nimitz in the Battle of Okinawa, I believe, said that uncommon valor is a common virtue in the theater of war. And that always, one thing at the Marine Corps that taught me something, because it didn't teach me much, but other than how to put up with bullshit. But outside of that, to be an efficient killer and all that stuff, not so much. You either have it in you or you don't. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So the inclusion of guns is just a metaphorical aspect of my work for power. And that's something we call, disagree with or agree with, but that's what the metaphor is.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about the body painting. So how do you get inspired to do that? Like, what's your process?
That's a funny thing because I actually don't like to body paint.
He has two models walking around.
I think it's super creepy.
We're getting up close and personal when you're doing the body painting.
It's a turn on. I'd give it that much. Maybe because I'm not mature. But the body painting here, I was asked to do it. I've done it on occasion. So what I did was I decided to. I'm a fine artist, so I just painted something that inspires me, muses, so just double-edged sword. It's a demonic or a satanic or a negative ideology behind something that consumes you, something that you're addicted to, So that's why they're both beautiful and ugly, yet, very present, very real. So that was my spin on why they have horns and stuff like that. So then the idea behind horns, actually, which is really funny, is that the cornucopia, which is a symbol of Thanksgiving, a symbol of a harvest and stuff like that, came from paganistic religions that believed that the All God, during the harvest, broke his horn off and offered it to man so he could eat.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have these goofy baskets wove that don't serve any purpose. You can't carry them on your back. They're just the most unorthodox things. But it's a symbol of a horn.
Yeah.
Right. That the Christian religion or Christianity went and turned it into an evil worshiping thing. So they had put them horns on them. Because that's, semiotically speaking, we think of it negatively. It actually isn't, because we still practice.
Yeah.
We still receive Thanksgiving with a horn. So.
Yeah, this is like a big centerpiece.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I'm always thinking of things that are fucked up. That shit. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Say whatever you want.
Shit. Fuck. Damn. Cut. Okay.
all that's good.
So, yeah. so that in these two things, I was thinking of the things that move me, and I believe it was I don't remember the writer of the poem, but he says something about petitioning your demon to tend to your needs. And so that's metaphorically what I did. I painted my demons.
Very interesting.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. Very cool. And if people want to find out more about what you're doing, you have a website, social media, anything like that you want to promote?
Yeah, I mean, like me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's Albertus Joseph. You could Google me. I'm Albertus Joseph. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Albertus Joseph. I even have a hat, I think. Yeah.
It says Albertus Joseph.
Funny that, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, rather than wear Tommy Hilfiger, I figured I'd put my own damn name on my
Yeah, right?
Makes sense.
And I like your Queen's hat, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in Queens all day.
He's a Queens guy. We from Pittsburgh on this side of
I'm
things.
rocking Brooklyn because
Okay.
Brooklyn shows me so much love.
There we
Yeah.
go.
That's where we at now.
Yeah, that's where we're at now.
Prodigal son.
So is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience with that they should know about you, about your art, about your process, anything like that you want to leave the people with?
Oh, well, yeah, I would like to say something to all my artist friends out there. This is just like from one grinder to another, that the struggle is real, and you should never give up on yourself. If you give up on your art, you're walking away from yourself. And that your work you should treat it like it's something to be worshipped. It's an aspect of you and what you put into it. And integrity is everything. So with that, just never forget that in everything you do, if you give it your absolute attention and take a great amount of care and patience and a high amount of integrity, and things almost always come out right.
That's great. Those are great parting words, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
How do
so
you feel
didn't
about the
think
beer?
that.
How do you feel about the beer, though?
I really like this. I mean, I like microbrewery stuff. Is that what that is?
This I believe is Perry. This is from Dogfish Head,
Dogfish
right?
Head, yeah. I mean, they're a craft beer.
They're craft beer, but they're like one.
Oh,
They're,
yeah,
they're like one of
see,
the biggest
I like
craft beers.
beers.
One of the OGs, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like the Millers.
Yeah. No, these guys led the charge of the small places.
Yeah, I think the thing about craft beer, it's a lot like fine art.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, there's like someone sat here and really thought about this, and thought about this process, and thought about the people that are going to be drinking it. It's not mass. It's not cheapened.
Right.
It's
complex. There's layers to it.
Budweiser probably spills more beer in their process than these guys actually.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So-
Absolutely.
and you can taste it. You can taste the attention to detail. Again, the integrity behind something is that someone's making a product, right? That they wanted to appeal to people, but they actually give a fuck about their product.
Yeah.
They gave so much. Like this beer has so many different flavors and nuances and things that are going on in it. You just can't find in Budweiser. I'm not trying to kick Budweiser in the ass, but they suck.
They do.
They
do
do.
suck.
They really
and
suck.
and
They-
don't. It's what you said about like actually caring about the product. They don't.
No.
They do the standard kind of mad scientist type of brew.
Right.
And that is what it is. And there's no flavor. There's no depth to it.
Nothing.
That's why you can get it for like $2-3.
It's smell the toast. That's what my mom used to say.
The lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
For certain.
Absolutely.
Just like eating matzahs. And I like matzahs with butter. But, without butter, they're not really worth eating. They're just it's like eating air, fluffy stuff. Yeah, but I love the beer.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Great.
And
All right.
thank you so much for spending some time with us, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Nice
man.
meeting
Cheers.
you guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. We are back at it. We have another very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sheila Perez, but I'm known by Lila.
Lila.
Lila Abstract.
Very cool. So,
Thank you.
Well, where did the nom de plume come from?
I'm sorry?
Where did the name come from?
Lila?
Yeah.
Oh, it was given to me by my boyfriend.
Okay.
He said it was shorter than Sheila, but it still kind of rhymed with Sheila, so Lila.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's catchy.
I
It
like
is.
it. I like
Thank
Lila.
you. Me too.
So, tell us a little bit about the pieces that you have here today.
Okay, so I brought 4 pieces. The first one is called Smear. So as an abstract artist, I don't paint with brushes. I use my hands or tools. So for example, the first painting you're looking at is called Smear, the one on the bottom right-hand side. I did that with a Samsung charger.
With
I
a
ba-
Samsung charger?
Yeah, the back piece of a Samsung charger. I dipped it in some paint and smeared it and try to give it some kind of abstract look of different colors and shapes all intermingled with each other. And I also paint 360. So I flip my canvas, I paint on the floor. And the other piece I paint is called Savage, and that is a piece I did with Tupperware. So I take Tupperware,
Really?
different shapes of Tupperware, squares and circles and triangles, and I just dip it in paint, and I use a smearing technique with it as well.
Wow. So now
Well,
what?
it's first off, Android all day. I like this. Android all day.
Yes.
So now what inspires you to paint like that?
All right, so it does come from a story.
Now we want to hear. We love stories. We want to hear your story.
Okay, so in 2015, I had a hysterectomy. I had about 15 kind of precancerous cells, tumors. And while I was under anesthesia for 8 hours, I dreamt about being in a roller coaster. And I was going through shapes, like tons of shapes, squares and triangles. I was under for 8 hours. Wow. And when I woke up, I do come from a family that paints. And my brothers and sisters and my aunts and uncle, my father. And so I guess it came on later on in life for me to paint. And when I woke up, it took me about 6 hours to recover. I saw the same thing, a lot of blackness, but a lot of shapes. And then within 3 months, I decided to put it on canvas. And I started painting after that. Once I sold my first few pieces as commission work, I just continued. Because, I mean, it makes me, I stand out, one, because it's a story. It was part of my recovery. If anyone knows what a hysterectomy is, as a woman losing a whole organs or possibly would have had cancer in the future, I had to make the decision to have surgery at such a young age, at 41. I'm 43 right now, so that's what I paint. I paint what I feel, my emotions about being a woman and coming through that, and surviving, having pre-cancer.
Wow.
So,
Wow. I mean, I'm sorry you went through that, but it seems like you were able to turn that into something very positive, right?
Yeah, the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to go big or go home, and then I just wanted to be able to put full expression onto my canvases. Meaning, I don't paint with a brush because everyone paints with a brush. I said, you know what? I'm poor. I'm actually not working right now, so I'm gonna use whatever I find. You know what? That looks good. Hey, there it goes. That's my tool for painting. So I paint with different things. Yeah.
So now the pieces you have here today, was there a specific feeling or experience that made you want to paint that? Like
Yes.
what was the
So,
going
for
on
example, if we look at the top, the one on the top,
Yeah.
it's called Psycho Baby. And that one I did with candle holders and round circle Tupperware is the one on the left-hand side. If you look in the middle, you might be able to see the abstract piece, which is someone riding a bicycle. So one of the things I missed after having surgery was riding bike. I used to do borough to borough. I'm from Queens, so I would travel from Queens to Brooklyn.
Queens all day.
This is a
Yeah.
Queens
all
guy.
day.
This is a Queens guy right
Story
here.
originally.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Me too.
really?
Yeah.
I'm from Ditmars.
I was right off of Ditmars. I was on Ditmars and 35th.
Ah, there you go. Okay, I was on Steinway, 38th Street. I went to Bryant.
Oh, nice, nice.
Thank you.
Queens all day,
And
Justin.
so
Queens
Psycho
all day.
Baby, I was riding my bicycle, and a car cut me off, and I had to slam onto him. And slamming onto him caused me to have a hip injury.
Oh, wow.
So I just painted that. I used my hands to smear it and just painted that experience.
Wow.
So yeah. That's what I paint. I mean, because it tells a story, and I'm hoping that whoever sees the artwork falls in love with the story behind it and just the colors and the fact that it's not brush. That's my hands.
Now,
That's Tupperware.
how often are you creating? Like,
How often?
how long did that,
Well-
for instance, did that take?
Savage was about 8 hours. I
8
do it
hours.
in one shot. 8
One-
hours. I
wow.
won't stop until I finish seeing what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Like right now, I'm working on a piece that's 5 feet. And it's a woman, a naked woman. She's called Plum Pussy. You gotta say it like that, Plum Pussy. Can I say Plum Pussy?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
say plum pussy. Right. You can say plum pussy. Go ahead,
Okay.
say it.
Yeah, so it's called Plum Pussy. And it's been taking me 3 months.
3 months. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, because it's different from a person who draws. Abstract is what we see, what we feel, and it's about a mood. So if I'm in the mood, I'm not painting, so I can start something today, I'll stop it and come back maybe 2 weeks later. So, but at least every 2 weeks I'm doing something.
Okay.
That's very
Okay.
cool. That's very,
Thank
very
you.
cool. So now, if you could, I guess, what are some things you would like the audience to know about you and about your style when you approach your art?
Well, one of the things I try to distinguish myself by is that I am about the customer. So, of course, I paint out of passion, I paint out of a hobby at this point, but at the same time, it is a business. And I'm also painting because I want to see my artwork in someone's home, in someone's videos, at staging, at a house. And about 4 pieces that I've done have been commission work. So it's very personalized. I sit down with the customer. We talk about what they're looking for, the colors, the style, and I really try to coordinate it and style it just the way the customer wants it. So that's what makes me different. That as an abstract artist, I listen to the customer what they want. So instead, if you're looking for a piece and you're going to Target, is that you want red and black circles, I can do red and black circles for you.
There you
Sure.
go. There you
But
go.
it's gonna be personal. It's gonna be deep, and it's gonna look good
Aw.
because it's a personal, customized piece.
Very cool. Very cool. And now, if people want to find out more about what you're doing, you're on Instagram, social media,
Yes.
website. Where are you at?
Yeah. So right now I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. I am under abstract_Lila.
Abstract_Lila.
So your name, your
you
art
can
name
call me-
backwards.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did it backwards. I don't do nothing regular. As you can see, I paint with Tupperware.
Right. Pay with chargers. That's awesome.
And a Samsung charger.
What's the weirdest thing you ever painted with?
Oh
Well,
my God.
weird for the audience. It might not be weird for you, but like, what's the most random fucking thing that you painted with?
Want me to be honest?
Yeah.
All right. So I had I had this old dildo, and it was a circle. I'm fascinated by circles, so I tried to use the dildo as circles, but the circles were too small.
That's-
So the dildo was too small.
Didn't work?
It didn't work.
The dildo was too small.
It's too small. No. I saw some anal thing before, then I was like, yeah, no, never mind.
That's hilarious.
That is really funny.
Now, do you have any other showings coming up?
Right now, no, I do not.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just working to do more. I actually had a collection, a 15-piece collection. I had a show at Peter Luger, and I had a show in Harlem. I did some shows in Manhattan, up in Manhattan, and right now I'm just doing more commission work.
Okay.
I do more personalized work.
Very cool.
Mhm.
And let me ask you: do you, when you drink, what do you typically drink?
I drink dark beer, like Guinness.
Okay.
I like tequila. I like vodka, but beer is my preference, like Blue Moon, IPA, things like that.
Okay. And now the beer we poured for you today,
Yes.
that's very different from that. What did you think of that? Totally honest. It's not ours. You can be brutally honest.
No, it has an interesting finish. What is that?
Well, it's called the Saison. I mean,
Saison?
yeah. I mean, those styles are pretty.
It tastes really good. It's sweet
Well, Perry, how would you describe the Saison?
and bitter.
And they're usually a little peppery, maybe.
Okay.
But the yeast is very intense, unlike most other beers. And some of them are sweet, some of them are funky. It really depends on what you're drinking.
I like it because it's interesting and it's not boring.
Yeah.
I don't like
Saisons,
boring beer.
A well-done Saison is definitely not boring. That's
Yes,
for sure.
it's a beer that I can actually drink.
There you go. And on that note, I'll say cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This
Absolutely.
is awesome. Great. Have a good night.
Cheers. Thank you.
Have a nice one.
All right, and back at it again. We have a
Back
very
at
special guest. Sir, please introduce yourself.
I'm Marios Papadonio. I'm an oil painter. That's really much it. Nothing much to talk about myself. Like,
Now,
what would
sir,
you like to know?
are you Greek?
Yes.
All right, I'm half Greek.
Yasu Tiganis.
Kala.
That's all you're gonna hear.
Yeah, that's it. My Greek's a little rusty, but
Yeah, I'm black.
Yeah.
I had a chance to go
Spoiler.
I had a chance to go to Greek school when I was like 6, but like when you're 6, your priorities are a bit different because it was Saturday school. Now it was either go to Greek school Saturday morning in the afternoon or stay at home, eat sugar cereal, and watch Power Rangers and Saturday morning cartoons. Kind of went with the latter choice. So I know very little in Greek.
Well, you know what? Power Rangers is a good choice.
Yeah.
The White Ranger, it's the whole saga right
And
there.
as long as I continue to
Oh,
eat
my.
baklava and feta, I think I'm Greek enough, you know?
There you go. There you go. So tell us a little bit about your art and tell us about the pieces you have here.
All right, so I have one piece here. It's figure 5. So I'm really interested in how people react when they look at art. I think sometimes people kind of like try to like they think art has to have a literal meaning when art's also an emotional thing. When I was in school, I learned a little about surrealism, and I learned that a lot of the best surrealistic pieces were very ambiguous. So what I do is I take human anatomy, and I take away parts of the human body that I deem are unnecessary to speak an emotional language, and then replace it with like imagery on the body that's kind of like morphed, kind of deformed, that kind of like makes you feel a certain way.
Wow.
And I pose the figure in a certain position, and then I apply color to the background that helps amplify that emotion. So either you're supposed to be feeling what the figure is feeling, or the figure is making you feel something, so the condition is between you and the painting rather than just the painting, you know what I'm saying? So my pieces are just about provoking the audience, essentially, into you feeling a certain way. And sometimes you may feel that feeling and then harken back to something from, like, I don't know, childhood, something a few years ago. Like, I remember when I felt like that. And now you have a personal connection with the artwork. Right. So I just want to, like, make my audience react to something, but not on like a shock value way, more like on a personal level. I want my audience to connect with my work. So nothing is literally about anything with my work. It's more like ambiguous, but like it leans towards something. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that's my work. So I mean, I know I can't like convert image into sound so you guys can understand. So if you guys are interested in following my art account on Instagram, it's at Marios Papadonio. I just paint strange things. There's weird human anatomy. The skin tone's like pain gray. It's very sickly almost. So it's slightly macabre, slightly surrealistic. That's pretty much it.
So what's your process while you're going through that? Like,
oh man, the process is pretty intense. Like first, I like to conceptualize the type of feeling I want to like talk about or like share with the audience at first. Then I do concept sketches, different human poses, different forms of imagery. I do process of elimination, what's too direct and what's not direct enough. I try to find a balance. Then I try to hire a model because I'm not as good as like these Renaissance and Baroque painters where they know anatomy like that. You know what I'm saying? So certain areas of the body where light bends, I'm going to need some help on, so I need a reference photo. Most artists do. And then I'll get a reference photo, I'll hire a model, and then the imagery that I want to make, like the club hand on that one, I'll sculpt it out of clay and reposition the same light source on the clay model as I did the model, so the light source is similar, and then just the light from there to make it exactly how it is on the painting, and then I just paint it out.
Wow, okay.
So it's a long process. Like that painting took me 3.5 weeks to paint, but the process to think of the idea took about a month before I started painting it.
Okay.
So I got like concept sketches just laying about my room and everything like that all over the floor. Sometimes I get paint, I step on them. My room's a mess.
It sounds like as far as art and your relationship with it, it's very intense.
It is very intense. I focus most of my time on it, yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't go out as much as I used to. Like when I was younger, I used to be really big into video games and going out, having fun. And I still love doing that, but like I found something that I love more, which is painting, and that's pretty much taken over my life. And I don't mind it per se.
How long has it done that?
About a year.
About a year.
About a year. And I've gotten like 5 paintings done, because like I paint big. They range from 5 to 6 feet. I don't go any smaller than that, because I feel like my work needs to speak louder, so it has to be bigger. The only thing that sucks is trying to get it to places.
Yeah.
I can't fit in my car. I gotta rent like a van. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was thinking about selling my car and buying a van. But like, if I drive around the neighborhood in a van, people are gonna think I'm some kind of, I don't know, rapist or something. And I'm a pretty chill guy. I don't like rape. I don't think anyone likes rape, actually.
No, no one likes rape.
Yeah. I don't think rape is that popular now.
No, not at all. Very unpopular. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
unless maybe you're in Hollywood. Maybe it's popular there.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
that's popular now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, just real quick. So you spend all this time like getting a model, figuring out the lighting, doing all these concept sketches. Would you ever consider doing that with like 3D modeling, like on a computer?
you mean like a computer program?
Yeah, just to get an idea. Like as you said, you like to kind of really work out what you're looking for.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I thought about it. I thought about doing a lot of things. I have to learn Photoshop. I want to learn 3D modeling because then I could do some really cool things that I would normally not do by hand. So down the road, absolutely. So when I have more time and more funds, because I'm a good boy, I don't download. So like I try to like support companies, support music. I still buy music, you know. So yeah. So down the road I would try to do that. But right now I don't have the funds to buy like a 3D rendering program. So
Gotcha.
cool.
So I mean, what is if you were to leave the audience with a description of your style, I mean, what would you want to leave the audience with?
When people usually ask me what my work's about, or they give me their interpretation, I always ask, how does it make you feel? When you look at it and you fully embrace the piece, how do you feel? I asked a few people here tonight, they said threatened. That red is very violent. The figure's looking down at me and glaring at me with these big eyes, and he has this blunt hand that looks like he can clobber me to death. I feel like intimidated, like I don't compare to this person. And I'm like, mission accomplished. I did what I wanted to do. So I tell them what my artwork is about, what I mentioned before about getting a certain reaction out of people, but gearing it towards a certain emotion, and you may harken back to that. But like, when people ask, like I said, what it's specifically about, I always ask, how does it make you feel? Then I'll segue into my art discussion, how I set everything up pretty much. So, like, feeling is important. And, like, I always think when I'm making my pieces, my concept sketches, while I'm drawing these, I'm like, will they understand this? Not everyone's going to understand your work. There's always going to be people out there that goes over their head or they're going to take it too literally. But genuinely, I just want a majority of people to feel close to what I'm feeling when I'm making this piece, because when I create it, I'll sketch it out, then I remove myself from the box of the artist and put myself in the position of the viewer, and I'll view it as a viewer and how it makes me feel, and I pretend that I don't have any artistic ability, and I try to understand, this makes me feel a certain way. The way this is shaped makes me uncomfortable in this area. You know what I'm saying? And I play around like that. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does. That's very interesting. Guys, you have any questions?
No, I think that I'm really inspired by how intense and motivated you are with your art.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you definitely appear extremely passionate. That comes through 100%.
Thank you,
sure.
man.
Yeah, man. And again, you said you're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff?
Yeah, Facebook, I have like my own Facebook, and then I have an artist Facebook that I just made because like I'm trying to expand the social media. I'm primarily on Instagram, so it's just my name, Marios Papadonio, Papadoniou, on Instagram. So that's pretty much it.
And let me ask you, are you a beer guy at all?
Yes, I'm more into wine and gin, but I do like beer.
Any type of beer particular that you like?
Okay, so I'm not really knowledgeable in beer. Guinness is considered a drought, right? Or a stout.
Guinness stout, yeah.
Stout, I like stouts. A lot of stouts, like Guinness, Arrogant Bastard Ale, Black Hole Stout. Like I had that recently. That was very coffee intensive. There was a lot of coffee in that one. Very dark, heavy. I like dark beers a lot. I like IPAs too. I've had certain IPAs where it was just too much grapefruit and I wanted to put my head through a table.
Yeah.
But like, I do enjoy IPAs. I just don't do light beers. That's the only thing I don't do.
Fair enough. And those are great words to part by. Yeah, man.
What kind of beer do you guys have? If you don't mind asking.
We have all kinds of beer. We have a bunch of IPAs.
We have a bunch of IPAs right now.
Sours, saisons.
We're drinking this Bridge and Tunnel New York IPA, which is infused with bagels.
You know what? Is that offer of trying that beer out still on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to try it, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll grab a cup in a bit. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Really appreciate it,
No
man.
problem, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, this is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. We are back at it. We have another tremendously talented artist here with us. Sir, please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Tony Seeker, and I'm very excited to be here tonight for this pop-up art show put together by Linda. And with the Beer Brothers over here, having my second drink with them.
Yeah, we had a little
I
bit
like
of
that name, Beer Brothers.
Beer Brothers is a good name.
It
We
is a
like
good
that.
name.
We had a little bit of technical difficulty, unfortunately. We brought Tony on earlier, which we apologize for. But his art is so compelling, and what he had to say was so interesting that we had to bring him back, and he just couldn't say no to another beer. So here you are.
Well, I hope I can live up to my previous self.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your art here and what inspired it.
Yeah, so I'm an abstract painter, and I use very colorful colors, acrylics. I like to work on wood primarily. I find that the colors mix well, and they represent a philosophy that I've developed over my lifetime. Early on, as a child, I used to paint model airplanes in their camouflage colors that were expected in the instructions. But as I got older, I wanted to express myself and reflect other elements in my thought process. And influencing that was an experience of being a refugee from the civil war in Lebanon in the 70s.
Wow.
After my family left there, we spent 2 years primarily in hotel rooms, sequestered essentially, and I was trying to entertain myself in addition to making prank phone calls and imitating Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau, and calling restaurants and making reservations before they had caller ID, prank reservations. I spent a lot of time painting these model airplanes, but instead of using the camouflage, I started coloring them with these very bright colors. And it was only until I became an adult that I reflected back, thinking that it was actually an anti-war protest or anti-war statement. And so that's kind of the root of where my art inspiration came from. And I see that in the world today, we still have a lot of refugees, and hope seems to be dim. And I'd like to change that to the extent that I have any influence. What I did was I decided to apply for a fellowship through the Obama Foundation to see if I could elevate my art to inspire the younger generations of refugees to connect with my generation who have experienced positive experiences here in America, and show them that there's hope for their future. And this way, hopefully that'll uplift them to say, well, this is not the end of the world. We still have an opportunity to make something of ourselves and to have a good life. And from the other perspective, I'd like to have Americans, particularly young children who can communicate with them at a young age, learn that they're just like them, and make it part of their mind stamp, so that when they grow up and they can influence their community, they'll look at the refugees as one of their own rather than some foreign entity that we don't know, or they're made out to be something that's sinister.
Sure.
Because really we're all human beings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And trying to, it's very poignant at this point in time, right? Because
Absolutely.
we're dealing with a lot of that right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it really hits home with me to see this whole thing come back. When you're a kid, you say, well, war is an antiquated thing. We're all humans, we can get along. And then you get older and the wars keep coming back, and there's still people discussing ideas that have been around for centuries, and you would think that we would outgrow them, but that hasn't been the case. So I don't expect to outgrow it in my lifetime, but to the extent that I can talk to people about my experience, I hope that they can take something away from it and maybe learn at an earlier age how they can change the world. And I think I see it in the younger generations now. They're much more forward-thinking than the people that I was in circles with when I was younger. So it is inspiring for me as well to see the younger artists and politicians and spokespeople.
Do you think any of that's part of the globalism of the world now? That there's so many more positions and mind views, and you can learn a lot more about the world as a whole much more easily than you used to be able to, decades ago.
Right, absolutely. Some people talk about having overseas experiences changes your life, and I was asked once if you could change one thing in the world or get rid of one thing, what would it be? And I guess in the spirit of John Lennon, it would be borders, because if we didn't have borders, then we don't really have something to compare each other on based on the highest level of differentiation.
Yeah.
Of course, that would create some other problems, but the idea is that we're always competing in this world, and I don't want to get too political, but the idea is, you're right. I think with global thinking, we really have to get there, because we're ruining the earth, and capitalism is fine if we can engage in a way that doesn't destroy the world. But I don't see that happening in front of me right now.
Right.
I see the reverse. Money drives production, it drives products, and we live in a society that's a consumption-oriented society.
We do. We do. We live. I think it's also like we have a lot of business that is in cahoots with the government right now, and I think that's very dangerous. Not to make this too much of a political podcast.
No, yeah, there's a lot of things that are fucked up and wrong right now.
Yeah.
And, but you know what? To your point, not to make it too political, which is a little hard these days. So maybe our show's a little refreshing in that we're not very political. But just getting back to the pieces you have here, if you could just talk about your motivation behind those pieces.
Especially, let's start with the Moulin Rouge.
Right. So Moulin Rouge, it's reminiscent of the French Moulin Rouge, which is somewhat famous. Red colors. There's a little bit of yellow, black. It's a little bit mysterious and intriguing. The Moulin Rouge idea, actually, when we left Lebanon, we actually lived in Paris for a year. And so that part of my memory was kind of lodged in there, and it's hard for me to forget that. So I have a lot of thoughts about that. But one of the things that I really like about abstract art, it doesn't tell you what to think or feel. It's up to you to bring it out in yourself. So whereas with song, for example, you're told what to think or feel, with instrumental music, it comes from the heart, and you have to find your own inspiration. And I feel it's the same thing with abstract art. So one of the ideas with the Moulin Rouge is to give it a name, but to let people go where they want with it. And with my other piece, which is called Vitesse, which means speed, or it's also a term for stick shift, the inspiration for that one actually was directly from leaving Lebanon with a book in my hand, which was the Guinness Book of World Records. And in the book, Lebanon was in the records for two things. One was the biggest bank robbery ever, and the other one was for the most honks by cars per minute per square mile.
Yeah.
And Vitesse is kind of a reflection of that, because in Lebanon, the way people drive, as you might know here with taxi drivers, people call them crazy here, but we think they're the best drivers in the world. I think they would outrun NASCAR or Paris-Dakar. I mean, these racers on the regular roads have no lights, no stop signs. They go down roads backwards. So, to me, those are the greatest drivers in the world. But Vitesse is about speed, it's about the stick shift, and it's about the Guinness Book of World Records. So it's putting all of that together in that painting.
Wow, that I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot. I liked it a lot. So now, if people want to find out more about your art, where can they go to kind of learn more about you and about what you do?
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Tony Seeker, Seker. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, at Klaxon du Soleil, ClaxonDusoleil. And Klaxon du Soleil means klaxon is the honk in French, or horn, of the sun, and it's a blast of the sun, literally translated. And it's an expression like a joie de vivre, or bright explosion of color and power, which reflects kind of my art. And I got that moniker really from putting together all these components in my lifetime, and I thought that reflected, my philosophy and artistic intentions.
Okay,
Very cool. Very cool. Guys, do you have any parting questions for our esteemed guests?
Do you have any upcoming shows, or is your art anywhere right now?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I actually I have art in a couple of galleries. One is in Piermont, New York, at the Piermont Flywheel Gallery, and we actually have a show next Friday, which I'm not sure if this will hit the air by then, but that's coming up. And then I have some art in a gallery in Utah called the Artworks Gallery.
In Utah?
In Utah, of all places.
Yeah.
Diversify.
Yeah.
So, so they're in those two places, and then you can, of course, check my website by the same name as well.
Okay.
Very well. And what did you think about this second beer that you had with us tonight?
Let me double check it.
This is the, we'll tell you a little bit about it real quick, Ridgewood Brewery in a Ridgewood, border of Brooklyn, Queens. It's a New York-style IPA. It's actually brewed with New York bagels. So a little bit of a New York tie in there.
It's as big, you know. You got your Boston IPAs, and the guy was like, I'm gonna put it with some bagels, make some.
Well, I'm looking
New
forward
York
to the derivative
IPAs.
with the Bialy, but this is fantastic.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Cheers.
Great finish on this beer.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
All right, so we got some nods going on in the background, some Illmatic, and we got another guest right here. Sir, please introduce yourself.
Yo, my name is Mathematics Patterson, and I'm coming from East New York, Brooklyn. We in the building. You heard?
Wow. Okay.
All right, we got a Brooklyn cat over there. All right.
Mathematics, is that religious?
No, that's my dad was one of those Wu-Tang guys.
Okay. 'Cause I know Mathematics, that's the DJ, right?
Nah. His name was Allah Mathematics, so coming from the loins, I'm baby math. You know what I mean? So word, facts. We in the building though.
Okay.
There you go. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm a visual artist. I'm also a community activist. Being from a marginalized neighborhood, you know what I mean? I think it's important to, give back. I think that's the role of the artist as well, to give back to the community in which you serve.
Absolutely.
Definitely. That's one thing that I'm into. I'm into the arts. I love the children. You know what I mean? I love painting with the children. I love, creating a better work and mind space for us, because it's a lot of gray and black and green and all that nasty stuff. So, that's just a little. Oh, I skate. So shout out to all my skaters out there, you know what I mean?
All right.
We definitely thrashing out there. And and I love cookies, so I make my own cookies and stuff like that. So,
You make your own cookies.
Wait. I mean, I've never done.
What kind of cookies are these?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what type of cookies I'm talking about?
Okay.
That Boombaye cookie. You know what I'm saying? Word,
I've never
facts.
done that in my life, but I heard they're really good.
Oh, they're pretty good.
These are some cookies I need to try. These are some cookies I need to get my hands on.
Yeah, facts.
Get you a sweet tooth someday.
Okay,
you
so tell me how like when you started to do art and like how it developed over time.
Well, basically, my mom's is an artist. My grandmother's an artist.
But we're talking to a lot of people that have done. Yeah, their parents are artists.
Yeah,
which
so I
is
come from
interesting.
I think I would, 1,000 years ago, a million years ago, we were that family where the guy was like, I need a scribe written. And he'll call on us. So it's always been like that. We've always been to the arts, whether we were dancers. My uncle was actually the first guy to hand paint the buses in New Orleans.
Wow.
So, that's just something that's just been in our family forever. So that's,
Okay. Now tell us about your art now.
Oh, my art now is just, I don't want to use the word nostalgic because that's kind of whack, but I'm just thinking about what's missing and I'm thinking about what should be seen in the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to capture those moments again and present a newer mindset or somewhat, you know what I mean? What I'm looking at, I'm doing a piece on the Power Rangers, but all the Power Rangers right now, they're throwing up gang signs. Feel me? Like that's my shit. I'm from the gang era, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I grew up watching Colors and shit from my bigger brothers and Boys in the Hood. So, I'm
Classic
thinking about
movies.
that. So, you know what I'm saying?
Classic movies.
Yeah, for sure, classic movies. So as you're going through your art and you're creating it, what's your process? What are you feeling? What's going through your head? What is your process when you're creating?
Oh, the process is just inspiration. It's inspiration. It's purely what people are talking about, what what I can relate with, and the people close to me can relate to too. I'm not gonna paint anything that I don't really know nothing about, or try to act like I'm this type of artist and stuff like that. And I won't promote no hate through my paintings either. So I'm not painting nothing about Trump. I'm not painting nothing about wars and all that other stuff.
No slavery.
No slavery. Definitely
Positivity.
No slavery. Yes, everything is positive.
Okay.
In some way, because we still throwing up gang signs over
Right.
here. It's a whole lot of gang shit.
It's about family.
Yeah,
it's
that's
about
a fact.
family.
It's a whole lot of gang
camaraderie.
shit, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We making that happen.
So I mean, you a hip hop dude, obviously.
Definitely.
So I gotta ask a question. So your top five. What are your top five artists?
Give me top three. Top three.
Now, I'm gonna give you top five.
All right.
My top five, you gotta put Jay in there. I'm
your
not
man.
gonna lie. I like Biggie, but I'm not a Biggie fan.
Whoa.
I'm not a Biggie fan like that.
That's a bold statement in Brooklyn.
I mean, yeah, but I didn't grow up on like the big. Like I grew up on the J. You know
Right.
what I'm
Okay.
saying? So like,
All right.
Lupe Fiasco is definitely in my
yeah.
top 5.
All right.
Who else? Oh, Dylan, and Dylan.
He spits hot fire.
Yeah, he spits hot fire. Like everything else,
fire.
everything else is like I don't know. I don't know who to really put in it. I really like up and coming artists. Oh yeah, Kanye. He's definitely in my
Day?
top 5.
Yeah.
And Dylan, yeah, like Dylan.
That's totally fine.
That's a fact. Like you know what I'm saying? That's it. You know.
So now, if people want to find out more about who you are, what you do, like what where you at? Your social media, websites? What do you got?
Yeah, so I have a website that I need to pay because Weebly is busting my balls right now.
Hey.
Balls. But mathematicspatterson.com. It's mathematics with an A, not an E. All right. So don't go on Google try to find me with an E because you're not gonna find me.
Okay.
I have a Instagram like everybody else does, almighty_math, and you know what I'm saying. That's it.
Okay. Well.
Oh, and I'm in East New York, so if you ever want to catch me on a block, you catch me on Miller, because that's where I'm from. You feel me?
Shout out to Miller.
Yeah, they're just out there posting. Now, what upcoming shows do you have?
So I'm actually a part of a show right now with my boy Extra Ketchup. We doing the one show that's two artists, one language. We're just trying to show everybody out there that you could do whatever you want within a space. You know what I mean? And capitalize off that some way, whether if it's financially or with the artistry. We're doing that here at Image Gallery. The next show, we're going to do a snack and paint with the kids. You know, we had our opening on the 1st. It was super dope.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. I was getting comments like people said they left with the chills.
Wow.
I was just like,
wow.
Oh, shit. You know what I mean? But this time we're going to focus more on the children and the parents. You know what I mean? Those who can't come out to actually purchase paintings. We still want to keep that vibe going where we can show another generation that you could paint. Like, just because it's not a curriculum in your schools anymore, it doesn't mean that you can't be an artist and live off of it. So we want to show them that and keep that ball rolling because that's important. You know what I'm saying?
They're always track. They're always trains to be paid.
Yeah, like, and we got the our fashion show on the 29th. So we're going to do that, you know what I mean?
Where's that happening?
That's going to be here, too. Image Gallery, yeah, man.
So they hold it down for you.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Los, man, for putting that on. My man Bobby Moses, for real. He's in Miami right now enjoying the Basel.
Oh, yeah, our Basel. That's where our boy Dylan, or he's Barbez.
Yeah, man, he needs to get back up here, man. That shit is whack, man. Get out of here.
Hey, they got the Wu-Tang playing down there this week, though.
That's true. Yeah, you got Wu-Tang down there. Yeah.
I love it. I'm lying. I wish I was down there. It's like 14 degrees up here right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, man. You know,
these dudes are in shirts out there.
Oh man, tank tops and flip flops. Like, who wear it like that, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's what I got going on. And next year I'm planning San Francisco Art Basel. You know, so it's the international approach. We working on that and making things happen. That's all it's about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I gotta ask. So when you're drinking, what's your drink of choice?
Yo, bro, you can pass me that bottle behind there, right there.
Let's get the picture. Let's get the picture.
Yeah. This is. That's my bottle of choice, man. Rosé for the champions, man. Rosé is for the
Like Ricky
champions.
Rosé.
That's all. I mean, I love beer and stuff like that, but it's real I'm celebrating life right now, so every time I drink, I'm popping a bottle, for real.
There you go.
I'm not lying. This is what I'm doing right now.
I respect
it too. I respect it too, man.
That's my joint.
Is there anything you want to leave the audience with? Anything about what you do, your artwork, that you want to just let everybody know about you?
Yeah, I'm just a dude from East New York, Brooklyn, that just love the paint. I love the paint. And as an artist, it's your responsibility to give back to the community in which you come from or where you're at. And I just want to let artists know that's really important to keep it going for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years because I want to be known, well, not known, but I want people to understand that, you know, it's possible. I'm thinking that role right there, and just
Very
keep it going,
respectful. Very
keep that
respectful.
ball rolling, because we got youth that we got to take care of now. You know, our grandparents they putting their feet up, so soon we're gonna be the grandparents, and I'm ready for that, and you know, I'm ready to go to the Hall of Fame too. So I'm just putting out good work, good quality work, and being the best that I can be. That's it, you know.
Okay. Now you off the J?
Yeah, I'm off the J.
What's the line? What's the stop?
Van Sicklen.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
Van Sicklen.
Shout out to Van Sicklen.
Yeah, I'm off the A. That's Van Sicklen too. I'm off the 3. That's Van Sicklen too.
Yo, so you just repping Van Sicklen right now?
No. I'm representing Miller. Yeah, but that's around the corner. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta walk around the corner to get to the street. But yeah, I'm from East New York, man. That's all that matters. I'm from the lineage of Dondi. We got dudes like Foot. We got dudes like Flav. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just continuing that path that they set for us, and keeping that ball rolling. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important.
Okay.
It's East Brooklyn now.
East Brooklyn.
Gentrification's coming for you, man.
It's coming for us too, man. So, you know, I'm making sure that, you know what I'm saying, I represent before, you know, it becomes East, you know what I mean, or it just becomes a part of Brooklyn. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
For real.
Okay.
You know, for all the mafiosos that's out there, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right, man. For sure. I mean, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us, man. We really appreciate it.
Yo, I appreciate y'all, man. Bed today, bed tomorrow, man. This was like spur of the moment. Like, y'all just put me on, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
problem,
For real.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
Yeah, man. We're all about community. We're all about just, you know, connecting with cool people and you know, just getting fucked up and talking about what you love to do. I mean, what could be better than that?
Sir, cheers.
Cheers, man. Cheers, man, to the champions, man.
To the champions. There you go.
For real, man. That's dope, man. I like what y'all doing over here, too, man. Y'all never seen a podcast at an art show.
Really?
Never.
Oh, we do them a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
bit.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man, because it's a voice that's kind of like cut out a little bit. You know, it's like you can talk about rappers and shit all day, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But we're the fifth element of hip hop, somewhat.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And
I mean, hip hop is art.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I
So-
seen Star Wars. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So we need
Yeah.
to get that cracking too. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
For real.
All right, man. Very cool. Very cool, man.
You know?
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Today's my birthday too, man. I
Well,
just
happy
turned
birthday.
30.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, man. I just turned 33, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm happy. I'm loving life right now and stuff like that, you know. So I appreciate y'all for making my birthday a little bit more happy.
Man,
Oh, absolutely.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? For real. For real.
All right, awesome, man.
All right.
That's what's up. All right, man. It's another great show. BTBT laying down another dose of dopeness. Hope you guys out there are enjoying this shit. And yeah, man, just wherever you are in the world, you know, drink local, drink fresh, repeat. That's
Yeah.
it.